What's up? What's going on? So I hope you're all doing well. Been hanging out in the cave, slamming a couple of these back, and listening to some music that takes me back to my youth. And this is a topic and a video I've been thinking about doing for quite a while, and it's the first thrash metal bands and albums that I ever heard. Forgive me, sometimes I can't talk straight after a few of these. But anyway, I thought this would be a great freaking idea for a video. I'm always interested in how people got into a certain genre. This would be mine. 1987, 1988 is about the time period. I would have been in 7th or 8th grade. All these bands are pretty well-known bands, nothing obscure. Be honest with you, I didn't get into the obscure stuff till a little bit later, or in between each album release, kind of sort of like that, because I was grabbing anything that was thrash metal, but in the very beginning it was the popular bands. Anyway, hopefully you guys dig this video, and maybe some of you will share your experiences. I love watching those videos. I thought this would be a great video. Bear with me. I'm pretty slammed right now, so hopefully I can talk straight. Anyway, what am I listening to in the background, you might be wondering? Exhumer.
Demons in the sky, flying on sand, forgotten armies, and yet and again. I'm the enemy, drowning naked in the middle of the rain. He walks through wood and snow. In a second, it grows. I say it will rise tonight. Get out, we'll see the light. Watch out, hope you never see. Beware of the thoughts of your soul. This thing I'm processed like fire. And the flames are burning higher. I do know my name is there, written in fire. So beware. Take away all these thoughts from my mind. Let them walk. Peace and rest is what I need.
This is not one of the first bands I ever heard, or thrash metal albums. I didn't hear this till a little bit later. Of course, it's a German band. You can tell by the color scheme, the German flag. Exhumer, Possessed by Fire. Hopefully you guys know this. This is a badass fucking record. Anyway, so I'll talk about these albums a little bit, my experience with them. Very first thrash metal album I ever heard is this one, Ride the Lightning by Metallica. And how I heard it was, my buddy was going to record Judas Priest for me on a Maxwell cassette or something like that. It's one of those 90-minute ones where he can fit the whole album on one side. And he told me he's going to put something else on the other side, and it just so happened to be this album. Well, back then, when I first heard this album, I didn't like it. I was not ready for it. But I believe one night I was hanging out with my buddies, got home, and felt lazy, didn't want to wait for the tape to rewind, so I just went ahead and played this shit. And it wasn't until, well, actually I loved the intro to Fight Fire with Fire. Then the song came in, I thought it was a bunch of screaming nonsense. And then when, I think it was Ride the Lightning, the title track, when I first heard that, there was a certain part in it that just really clicked with me. And the more I listened to it, I was like, this is some fucking badass shit. And then the bell, For Whom the Bell Tolls, hit. And back then I didn't know that was a bass guitar. I thought that was just a lead guitar solo, but that intro, bass guitar solo at the intro, freaking blew me away. And the vocals, the storyline, the chorus. Fade Black came on later. I fucking love that track. Flipped it over. Trapped Under Ice is actually my favorite track off this album. The Call of Cthulhu, of course. Creeping Death. There's another one that's really fucking good. Escape. There we go. Every track on this is a fucking stone cold classic. I decided to show just CDs. I got most of these on wax, but I just showed my old CDs. Originally had this on cassette because after I got into this, I went and bought the cassette, which was a white shell with the logo on it. For anybody remembers the old Metallica cassette. I don't have my old version, but I have this old CD, which is an electric copy. Fantastic album. Very first thrash metal album I ever heard. Right here. Ride Lightning by Metallica, released in 1984. If I didn't say it, 1987 and 1988 is when I first got into thrash. So a lot of these albums came out around that time period, or a year before or so. Second thrash metal album I ever heard was Among the Living by Anthrax. And I actually heard I Am the Man, the EP first. And it had a couple of live tracks from this album, if I remember right. But I remember buying this first. Among the Living is still one of my favorite Anthrax albums. I still like Fistful of Metal, and Spreading the Disease. But I think nowadays, whenever I go to an Anthrax album, it's going to be this one. Every track on it. Among the Living, the title track. I love it. Cotton and Mosh. I love that fucking bass line. I Am the Law. I love the lyrics to that. Indians is another one I fucking love. Ethel Neffelkassen, or Nice Fucking Life. Love that track. Skeletons in the Closet. One World. ADI. Horror of It All. Horror of It All. Horror of It All. Imitation of Life. Every fucking song on this album fucking rules. This is an old Islands. Originally had this on cassette as well. Everybody's seen this stuff, but I just love these old CDs. They're just something about these old CDs. But yeah, second one I ever heard, Among the Living by Anthrax. Third would be this one by Overkill, Under the Influence. And actually, I think it was Hello from the Gutter. I seen the video first, and then I bought this tape. My favorite album by Overkill is, of course, Feel the Fire, but I fucking love this album as well. Hello from the Gutter is my favorite track, but I love Shred, Never Say Never. Brain Fade, I love that fucking groove. Drunken Wisdom, god damn. Head First, I love that groove too. And Overkill 3, this is a fucking classic, and the third thrash metal album I ever heard. Overkill, Under the Influence, I think it was released in 87. It's a fucking gem. Fourth album I ever heard is Megadeath, Killing Is My Business, no. Peace Sells, but Who's Buying? Killing Is My Business, Business Is Good. I think I bought those at the same time, but I think I heard this one first because I wanted to hear Peace Sells, but Who's Buying? And then I heard Killing Is My Business same day. But just to be honest, to be frank with it, this is the very first Megadeth album I ever heard, released in 1986. This is a fucking fantastic album on Combat. My original copy. Man, these old CDs just fucking rule. What they look like. The remasters are not too bad, but they're not my favorites. But I love every track on this fucking album. Every one of them. From the opening track, Wake Up Dead, The Conjuring. My favorite track on this is actually My Last Words. I love the bass line in it. I love how that groove is. You can just drive to that as fast as possible. Fucking song rules. Devil's Island, I love that. Black Friday, Good Morning Black Friday, Bad Omen. I even like the fucking cover. Ain't Superstitious. Every freaking track on this is a masterpiece. Fourth thrash metal album I ever heard. Peace Sales, but Who's Buying by fucking Megadeath. Fucking killer.
We'll meet in the morning light. What's the name? All my weapons from in hand. Should I move for this land? What's the name?
Fifth. Now, it could be a toss-up between this one and A New Order, but I'm pretty sure this is the first Testament album I ever heard, The Legacy. It's my favorite one by a freaking long margin, even though I love every Testament album I have. I think I have every one of their albums, but The Legacy, what can I say about this fucking album? Over the Wall. That guitar solo, it's one of the greatest thrash metal songs ever written, in my opinion. But that guitar solo fucking rules. The Haunting, Burnt Offerings, Raging Water, First Strike is Deadly, Do or Die, Alone in the Dark. I love the chorus line in Alone in the Dark, and of course Apocalyptic City. Fuck, this album rules. Fucking rules. This is one of those albums I wish I had on vinyl. I just don't have a copy of it on wax, but that's okay. I have this copy. Can't go wrong with it. This is fucking apex thrash. Everybody's like, that's pussy thrash. No, this is badass fucking thrash. Back in the day, this was extreme. If you didn't live back in the 80s, you wouldn't know. But this is a fucking shit right here. Number 5. Number 6. Schizophrenia by the Almighty Sepultura. Actually, Morbid Vision's the very first Sepultura album I ever heard, but that's really more of a death metal album. So I went with the thrash metal album in this case, and it's Schizophrenia. I remember buying this on cassette, and I was fucking blown away by this motherfucker right here. Every fucking track fucking rules. Every one of them. My favorite track on this would probably be From the First Comes the Storm, To the Wall. I love Inquisition Symphony. That instrumental fucking rules. This is the shit. This is the fucking... Oh, it's nothing on that side. This one's on Shark Records. Released in 1987 from Brazil. This is the shit. The first 2 Sepultura albums fucking rule. Beneath the Remains is pretty good. Arise is pretty good. Chaos AD is pretty good. But this is the fucking apex Sepultura album in my opinion. Fucking rules. 7th. Hell Awaits by Slayer. And I remember the first track I heard on this was the opening track, and that riff, well, first with that little chant, and it just gets louder and louder. Then that drum beat. I fucking love that drum beat. That freaking guitar. First death metal vocals I ever heard is on this album. Welcome Back. This is a fucking masterpiece. It's my favorite Slayer album of all time. But my favorite tracks on this is Hell Awaits, every fucking song. Kill Again, At Dawn They Sleep, Praise of Death, Necrophilia, Crypts of Eternity, and Hardening of the Arteries. I love the production on this album. I love the vocals. I love the guitar tone. I love the solos. I love the evilness. This album is true fucking evil. It's a Metal Blade. Released in 1985, a year after Ride the Lightning. Honestly, I think this album blows Ride the Lightning out of the fucking water. Hell Awaits by Slayer, the 7th. Now we're moving into like 1988. I want to say I heard Sanctuary. This one, fuck. Refuge Denied. I couldn't think of the fucking name of it. What can I say about this fucker? Oh my god. This is a fucking bomb. Everybody knows this. This is a reissue that I used to have this on cassette, but this is the reissue and it looks pretty fantastic. I love the what was it, White Rabbit. That cover song fucking rules. Favorite track on this is Battle Angels, Soldiers of Steel. Fucking shit. Third War. Ascension to Destiny. The vocals on this, of course, everybody knows who the vocalist is on this. Dave Mustaine guest appears on this. I even think he helped produce this album, if I remember right. 1988. Fucking classic. This is a fucking gem. Love that artwork. Fucking love this album. So that's number 8. This one, the first German thrash metal album I ever heard. It's Persecution Mania by Sodom. Nuclear Winter. I freaking absolutely love that fucking track. Still my favorite Sodom album. Always will be. Just love this one. But anyway, every track on this is a fucking badass motherfucker. Let's see what the Simile says. Good whole lyric sheet. But every track, every fucking track. I can't read them. Enchanted Land, I love that song. My Atmosphere. Outbreak of Evil. The Conqueror. Fuck, I can't read. It's a fucking gem. I first heard, my buddy played this for me first, and I didn't know it was actually a German band until a little bit later. But one of the greatest fucking German Teutonic thrash albums ever recorded right here in my hand. Persecution Mania. I think it was released in 1987. Drawing a blank. I get that way when I have too many of those. Next is this one, number 9 or 10. Metal Church in the Dark. I want to say I heard it self-titled first, but I think it was this one because I remember Let the Children Pray is a track that really stands out to me. So I believe this is the first one I heard. I think it was released in 1987. The Dark is my favorite track on this one. One of the greatest, I guess some people would consider it speed metal, but I always put them in with the thrash metal bands. First heard this with my buddy who was hanging out, and he played this on cassette in the car when he was driving around, and I was just absolutely blown away by it. A ton of bricks, Start a Fire, god damn, every track, The Dark. Over My Dead Body. Every track on this motherfucker is a fucking banger. The first album is even better, but this is the second album is fucking rules. Metal Church The Dark. It's number 10. So number 11 is this one. I remember this specifically because I bought it because I love the fucking artwork. It was on cassette. But Violence, Eternal Nightmare. Love this album from the very first day I heard it. Eternal Nightmare, the opening track is fucking killer. This is on Mechanics. Or Mechanic. Fuck Mechanics. That's a Megadeath song. But anyway, yeah, this one right here is the fucking shit. If you don't think so, that's your opinion. But my opinion is this is a fucking badass fucking album. I almost grabbed the reissues when this came out on vinyl. I just never did. Just happy to have this copy of it right here. So number 10, Violence, Eternal Nightmare. Exodus is number 12. Bonded by Blood's actually my favorite Exodus album, but Pleasures of the Flesh is a fucking banger. Everybody knows this album. Released in 1987. I remember me and my buddies were skateboarding to this fucking album. Hauling ass down the road with our Walkmans on. But Till Death Do Us Part is probably my favorite track on this. Brain Dead. Every fucking track on this is a fucking banger. Pleasures of the Flesh by Exodus fucking rules. Badass motherfucker. And last 13, this is the first Death Angel album I ever heard. I didn't hear the first one, Ultraviolence, till later. I didn't know about it, to be honest with you, back then. This store only carried this Death Angel album, and I never seen another Death Angel album until a couple years later. But then it was the third act, and I think I got that second. Then I finally heard Ultraviolence later. But this is Frolic in the Park by the Bay Area thrash metal legends. This is an absolute fucking banger. Love the vocals, love the guitar work on this, love the drumming on this. Badass fucking thrash record. Still my personal favorite Death Angel album. But anyway, hopefully you guys enjoy that. But that's the very first thrash metal albums I ever heard. And then later on, I got into the obscure stuff a little bit later. Hopefully you like my video. Because I don't know if I'm going to post it. I'm a little bit too wasted. That's okay. I'm probably going to post it anyway. Everybody's fucking cool anyway. Y'all have a good one. Later.